Hey guys, so this is officially our first video recording for 123 Chess. It's a work in progress, but pretty stoked about starting this endeavor. I just wanted to start this off by giving a brief little bit of a synopsis from each of us. So you kind of know about our background as well as what our envision is for this. So for me personally, I was introduced to chess by my dad when I was young, and I didn't really get into it until about high school. And that was at the time where Tom and I, my name is Luke, by the way, we went to the principal, and essentially there were a lot of chessboards that a large high school in Rockford, Michigan had, and we decided that we would like to start up a chess club. So we started a tournament. We ended up getting first and second, so we were pretty ready for it. But ever since then, we kind of have been getting back into it through online stuff, and never really entered any in-person tournaments. But what we had in mind in this is, as we continue to learn ourselves and want to continue to improve our game, as we do that, we want to kind of bring whoever is interested into it, because you'll be able to kind of track with us to not only see how our games and kind of thought processes go, both of us, and our analysis, but also you'll get a chance to see kind of maybe how you would approach it, and in turn we'll probably all learn from it in the end. So I'm pretty stoked about improving my game, as I'm hoping you guys are too. And so once again, my name's Luke, and Tom, you want to give a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, so my name's Tom. I've been playing chess since probably the third grade, when I went to a store with my mom, saw a chessboard, read the instructions on the car ride home, figured out how the piece moves, and started just playing from there. Uh, uh, yeah, I would say my game started to get really, I wouldn't not good, got better in high school when I started playing against Luke. Uh, we started to actually see some real strategy developing. Following graduation from high school, I've done a little bit of independent chess studying on my own. Mostly in the form of watching YouTube videos just on general strategies or specific openings. Or reading a couple of books. There's one by Susan Folger, who Luke and I both really like.
Very good book.
Can you get the name of that book off the top of your head, Luke?
I want to say it's boy, we'll give it to you guys in the comments.
Yeah. But very focused on tactics, and doing that has really helped me with my game. And just back and forth after graduating high school and going on to our future careers and whatnot, Luke and I have connected just to play chess. We've connected over chess over the years, which is kind of the nature of chess. It's one of those things that you never lose. It's a lifelong activity that you can always engage in, and there's not even really a peak, a pinnacle of how far you can go with your knowledge. And so that's kind of what we're trying to strive for here, is just to improve our games further.
Totally. All right, thanks, Tom. So what we're going to do here first, we're going to jump in here to a game, and just kind of, this is, I guess, what we call an open game. So we're going to describe kind of what our moves are and why we're doing them.
All right, so I am a E4 opener, pretty typically, usually one of the standard moves to start off a chess game. Gives you some lines with your queen and your bishop.
Yep, and I typically, I try to go traditional because I'm a positional person, so anything tactical is outside my comfort zone. So I no super crazy tricks up my sleeve for those kind of situations.
I like a nice open game, so I try to attack the center, offering up that exchange, which most players will accept. Why not take pawn? You could recapture with your queen there, but my move, I end up going with a gambit, and I bring that pawn forward.
And I bring this pawn forward.
Yeah, and so now he's declined the gambit, at which point in time I got to recapture with my bishop there, get that pawn out.
I usually want to develop my knights first, as is, if you hear any beginner's book of openings, that's one thing that, generally speaking, it's kind of pretty common.
Yep. Again, I'm developing my knight here too. One of the things that I like about this opening, you'll see that I've got 4 of my pieces that are already up and activated as opposed to the 1 of Luke's, which is kind of what I like about this. It gives me, this position gives me a lot of tempo.
That it does.
When I see that bishop coming out there, I'm going to go ahead and castle my king, bring him to a little bit more safety so I can keep doing what I'm doing here.
Part of my strategy with the bishop too is I wanted to get it in a spot that's purposeful, and I kind of figured he was going to be castling the next move, so figured why not.
All right, so I want to continue to empty activate my minor pieces here. So I want to bring this bishop out. I want to get this knight out. I've got to bring the bishop out before the knight. I'm going to put it in this position with the intention of, if I get that exchange there, then I've opened up a file for my rook.
Yeah, I would say that far outweighs the doubling of pawns in that case. And this was one of those moments that if I were to do a formal analysis, I would definitely be pointing out the fact that I feel very uncomfortable right now. And Tom knows this. We've played each other quite a few times, so we're gonna go back there, giving me a couple different options to choose which pawn I want to go with if he's gonna take it.
Once again, beginning of the game, I'm trying to activate these pieces, so I'm bringing my knight out just to get a little bit more control over the center of the board, something you definitely want to do as you're establishing pieces.
And I'm just, again, nothing fancy there, just developing another piece, but I'm specifically trying to force him to make a decision with that bishop here shortly. Another thing I tend to like to do is create a little ambiguity for my opponent. So right now, theoretically, I could castle on either side, which gives a little bit of a challenge to know which way he wants to direct his attacks.
All right, I am going to bring this pawn forward. I've got this white bishop here that is going to end up needing to get moved because he's not in a very well-defended position. That just gives him 1 more square to move to.
Let's see, what do I want to do? I'm probably going to regret this, but my gut reaction told me to castle. That's what he wanted me to do, I'm sure.
I mentioned moving my bishop earlier, but I think at this point in time, I'm just going to defend those squares a little bit more by bringing my queen up, which doubles my queen up with my bishop, attacking that h7 square, which right now just has the queen or the king and the knight defending it.
Yep. Okay, and then I am going to what am I going to do? This is my moment. My moment of prudence. Well, let's go ahead and take the attack to his king side. Obviously a fork there, nothing fancy, but I'm attacking both knight and bishop, giving me more options, so kind of trying to force a decision. Plus, what my knight did is it actually blocked his bishop and queen line from being able to get through because now his pawn is blocking him.
So kind of along the lines of keeping that same theme, developing pieces.
This is where the mental juice begins for both of us.
Is
Another thing for context, you guys, is when I moved my knight there, let's say he takes my knight. Not only does his pawn continue to block the path for his bishop and queen, but also if he tries to push the other pawn, which would be the logical option usually, to open up the rook, now his bishop is left hanging. So it just basically kind of is trying to create a lot of different things going on, all for the purpose of confusion.
right. I am going to take with my knight because I do ultimately want to get this file open for this rook to attack with, and that's just one more piece blocking it. I didn't want to lose my bishop because I've got that nice line going with it. And as we start to eliminate pieces, the bishop's in what's called an open game, where there's not a lot of pieces left on the board. The bishops have a little bit more value to them than the knights. Not extraordinarily so, but slightly. And that's kind of what you're doing, is just going for minimal advantage over time.
Yep, exactly. Tom knows I tend to prefer the bishop pair, but again, like he just mentioned, it's completely situational. If you got a really, really closed game and you have bishops, you're screwed basically. Those babies are not going to be worth much at all to you unless they have a really good open diagonal.
So I'm going to move my king there, which I feel like when I started out, a king move like that always appeared really like strange. But the big reason for that is I got the king out of the way of that diagonal that his bishop is on. And it allows me to move the F pawn forward, because then I can attack that center pawn that he has on the E file.
Again, I'm probably sure it's going to bite me, but it's super tempting right now for me to take that bishop and trade him off so we can give him doubled pawns, just because he has so many options when I just keep things as they are. I don't like both bishops attacking toward my king, and I want to try to clear things out, so I'm going to go for it.
Yeah, realistically, looking at that now, I probably should have captured your bishop on the last move and forced you to take and double your pawns before just launching my pawn forward, and then I wouldn't have had to bother with moving my king.
Yeah, that probably would have made sense.
But in this position, yeah, definitely recapturing bishop. The nice thing about here, I do have that open file with my rook now, which is just putting additional pressure on that king side.
Okay, let's go ahead and develop my last minor piece.
We're always looking for weaknesses in our opponent's setup. One of those obvious weaknesses, as well as one of the things that you're trying to capture on, is that center territory. So I am going to, first of all, make sure I don't blunder here. I'm gonna develop this knight forward, which is attacking that pawn now. The further up the chessboard you get your knights, the more value they end up having as well. A knight in your second row isn't that great. If you can get a knight up into the 5th or 6th row, that is where it starts to become pretty dangerous.
So this, after Tom just said that, this kind of goes against general philosophy. You usually don't want to retreat your knights, as I did, for that very reason. However, the reasoning behind this was to cover the pawn as well as open up my queen in a different spot. So I'm essentially going to try to kick his knight back eventually, but for now, I'm trying to just get all my pieces in a maneuverable position.
And now is where you really start to see me regretting having these doubled pawns in the E file. Man, I would have liked to have had that pawn on F4.
To be fair, though, I actually didn't see the option for me to use my knight to guard like I am now earlier. So, I mean, theoretically, it was pretty solid for your knight to take it out and then kind of move forward with your original plan.
I'm gonna attempt to have the patience that I often do not. Luke's good enough to stop just an all-out attack right now. I forgot that pawn. I'm thinking.
It's a pretty comparable game, though. I mean, aside from the doubled pawns, I mean, I happen to get pretty lucky there with continuing to maintain the block, but at the same time, I mean, my rooks are kind of sitting there back. I mean, he's got an open file. I really have little going for me in terms of attacking power. I'm pretty much stuck on defense right now.
All right, so again, I'm retreating that knight. I said I was moving it forward. Excited about that. However, I'm really blocking in my bishop in that position, and I need to activate the bishop a little bit more to be able to get into that defense.
And now I get to reveal another reasons why I moved the knight. Another reason why I moved the knight is so I could reroute it here to have a double hit on the bishop.
So from here, yeah, I'm gonna move my bishop up here and offer change.
Yep, that is probably what I would have done too. This is going to get quite interesting. I'm already seeing some pretty fascinating possibilities here. It actually could get quite a lot closer to a mirror image game.
Yeah.
I really want to. I'd really like to do that, but yeah, let's go for it. All right, I'm nothing surprising here. Just trying to guard with my queen and make little moves of significance that will not hurt me out when he starts rerouting his rooks and knight.
Yeah, I've got to. I'm gonna capture.
Do I do it or do I not do it? That's the question. Okay, we're gonna go for it.
And part of me doing that is honestly, I want to get some pieces off the board, and I actually do know that Luke is pretty good at maneuvering those bishops. Okay, so I am going to. We're going to move my knight there, which is putting pressure on that pawn again. I mean, it's certainly defended by that queen, but again, just trying to increase pressure on that middle.
Yep, fair enough. And I'm definitely going to start doing something with these rooks who've been sitting happily waiting for action.
Yeah, that is what happens when all of a sudden you have an open file. Rooks come into the game. So that is there. I am going to have to join the party.
Yep. Not surprised a bit.
I really am trying to prevent I'm trying to prevent that knight advance too a little bit.
I really don't want to have to continue to cover that pawn with my queen. I mean, that's what a useless purpose for the queen, right? So let's do something else with the setup to open up my queen's possibilities. I think one of the things you guys will hopefully appreciate about our videos is, as weird as it is to say this, I don't personally know a lot of the chess terminology out there, but the good thing about that is that any of you out there who are in a phase where you'd like to improve your game, you don't really have many solid options without feeling overwhelmed in the chess universe. We're not all into the jargon and everything, and while we will develop it over time, I think the organic learning that we're doing will hopefully kind of provide an avenue of refreshing, kind of just down to earth mentality for you guys.
Obviously attacking the knight there.
Yeah, that was a pretty solid move. Super simple, but it sure got the job done. It kicked my knight from where it was, and I have very few options. Well, we know which person is going to get their pawns down the line fastest on that side. All right. Yeah, this is going to be a doozy. That was pretty good. Not gonna lie. All right, I am going to. Yikes. I'm not gonna lie, this is probably my most challenging move of the game so far. I know it sounds weird, but it's when it comes to these pseudo end game moments mid game, it gets a little tricky if you're not calculating things properly.
Anytime I see a player move a knight to the side of the board, I get excited. Knights on the board, on the sides of the board, just don't cover nearly as many squares.
That is true.
Now that Luke did that, I can do a move that I've been wanting to do, which is to bring my rook forward.
Solid move.
Queen. I can end up putting another rook behind it, and doubled rooks in a file are
pretty deadly. If placed well, they are pretty deadly. So I'm trying to utilize my my pawn's help to double my rooks if need be, as well as provide multiple options for capture. So it just gives me a little bit more more to work with.
I'm going to do here exactly what I was just talking about you don't want to do. I'm going to move my knight to the side of the...
Everything's situational chess. That's the beauty of it.
It is.
That's the beauty of it.
I'm trying to set myself up for moving it to that F5 square. That seems spot because it's hacking his rook.
Yep. And honestly, Tom's move here is all but forcing me to do what I'm probably going to do, which he probably knows. Yeah. Surprise, surprise.
Yep. And so, you know, the real purpose, knowing he's going to bring that out, yeah, it prevents me from moving my knight there anymore. But what I did is I weakened his pawn structure, which is always a good thing.
Yep.
Oh, I can bounce my knight right back, and we're in the same position as we were, but
with one
a little weaker.
Yeah. So what am I gonna do? This nothing special here. I'm gonna double my rooks because that's how we roll apparently.
And again, if we're doubling rooks, I double rooks.
You can't make this stuff up. I mean, really. Let's have at this, man. Like, this is good stuff.
Just clearing off some pieces.
I really, yeah. Let's. You make the decision. No, you make the decision.
Yeah. I can get my knight doing a little bit more stuff, so.
I like it.
Knights often require a lot of moves to get them to where you want them to be.
Precisely. Okay, well, let's go right here. That's why I went there.
Yep. Well, my knight's doing no good there, so I am going to bring it to... No, I'm not. I'm going to prevent myself from making a blunder. Jeez.
Oh, fun fact, you guys, so that you'll know we're not like geeky millionaires with our fancy equipment. The Zoom time ends at 40 minutes, y'all. So basically we have about 4.5 minutes left technically.
Yeah, this video is not going that long.
All right. Well,
exchange.
Yeah, I know, but how to exchange? That's the question. Yeah, and I know what you're gonna do next. Yeah, I know.
Yep.
Or do I know? Maybe I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah.
What a I would say what a unique game, but this tends to be the situation for us quite a bit.
Bringing the pawn forward, that was one of the benefits of putting my knight there in the first place.
That was really good, not gonna lie. That was very, very good. Yeah. This is getting scary for me, everybody. This is getting scary. And at this point,
one of the nice things about you do want to get rooks and the queen in an open file like what Luke's is. But one of the things that you got going, or that I've got going here is actually those doubled pawns working to my advantage because they create more attacks down that center file. So he doesn't have nearly as many options in terms of where he can move that queen.
Precisely. It's interesting that you push your pawn up. I was not expecting that, but it makes perfect sense given the structure.
And then since we've got that there, then I'm taking the file now.
Yep, precisely. And I'm going to decide if you want to trade or not.
This is chess.
This is chess. This is what it's all about.
Yeah, I'm gonna go for the trade.
I would have too if I was in your position, but I'm not. So it may get rocky for me.
All right, this is now a night game.
We have not had one of these in a long time. This is really interesting.
I'm moving to this side because my pawns are a little bit more forward here. So I'm going to see if I can get a inside attack with these pawns going here.
I'm going to move my king to the action because, well, clearly my pawns and knight are not helping me out much in my little debacle.
Yeah, he moved his king. Ooh. Yeah,
Oh, okay. I see how it is. Well, in that case, I'm going to do what I wasn't going to do, and I'm going to go ahead and try to see if we can open up the doubled pawns. So this right here proves that double pawns aren't always a lasting issue.
Reason I brought that pawn forward too was actually to bring this king out.
Okay, now my knight is in a far better position. He's got much more potential. Plus, I have a pawn duo, which I was hoping to gain. We're at 1 minute left. I don't think we're going to finish this, but we'll have to let you guys know how it plays out in our next video. But we'll go to the end. The last.
Just activating that king a little bit more.
I'm going to go ahead and move that bad boy up.
Luke, they might actually give us an extension because we're pretty new to Zoom.
That would be fantastic.
On attacks, I end up, this is where I make probably most of my mistakes. Now, I make all throughout the game, but end game, honestly, if you are going to try to really win games, get good at winning games, practicing end games is a great way to go.
That it is.
Geez, I just hate my knight right now.
This is looking like it could go either way, but I must say, as opposed to what I said about 3 or 4 moves ago, I really appreciate my position now.
Yeah. My knight here is actually doing something now.
Now, if I move my king up to d5, the problem is he's. If I do that, oh, it's such a toughie. We're gonna do it because we can.
Yeah, again, moving the king up the board is really what you want to be doing end game.
The closer to the middle, the better, generally speaking. There's a dynamic with king endgames, which, if you guys aren't familiar, is called opposition. And to have the opposition is to have the upper hand with the king's abilities. So it's something that very much comes into play, especially when you eliminate all the minor pieces on the board.
Yeah, I wish I had done this sooner. Probably gives the game away.
Not necessarily. This could go either way. I think I know what you're going to do, because it's probably what I would do. And we think alike on these situations because there's not too many options in the... Oh, no, I did not expect that. I'm not going to lie.
You know, I've got the 3 pawns there to his 3 pawns. I've got my knight over there. he's moving his king to the middle, so the idea is I want to move mine as well. I've prevented him from advancing. There's the knight now. Yeah, let's just simplify this.
All right, so now what I've done here is I have the opposition with my king. So basically, he's kind of stuck in the back there, and so what's going to happen is we're going to do probably some pawn trading here momentarily. But fortunately for me, I have an extra move with my a pawn, which he doesn't have the luxury of. So he's going to kind of do a back and forth thing, and I'm going to I think I'm going to just go with, yeah, let's.
Yeah, I definitely don't want Luke putting his king in the f3 square, so that's why I'm just bouncing here.
Using up my last extra move, shall we call it? Okay. Boy, I thought it was cool. No, it's not cool at all. Yikes. Yikes, yikes. So if you go there and you go that, oh man. Boy, this is going to be a little bit of a challenge. Oh.
So,
this is a very risky move I just did.
Yeah, so with that move,
I kind of wonder if what I did there is I kind of wonder if I actually gave it away to you, because it would have been drawish and I was trying to get it out of that, but boy, what did I do?
Oh no, I don't know. I think my hand is forced and I think I have to move up.
Yeah, fair enough. This is so weird. I don't know what I want to do. I don't know if I want to, like, if I get my king out of there, it's going to take me forever to unlock these pawns.
all the pawn unlocking is now going to take a lot of time.
Good grief. I just don't see an option for me. I'm going to get my king far out of reach of where he can do stuff. I'm gonna probably lose this game. It's okay. It's okay, Luke. Just, it's all about analysis after. It's about learning, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna learn something. What I'm gonna learn, that's to be found out here. But
I think that's what I got to do.
Yeah, this is not.
I'm feeling actually really good about that move.
Yeah. And folks, with that move, I think Tom just took this game, but we shall see for sure. I'm pretty confident that is indeed the reality, though, because that's my only option there. Yep. So, yeah. And now he's
now it prevented me can't get that pawn, so I get the other one. And so now it's just a race at this point. He's going to be able to take that pawn.
Ooh, this might not be too calculations, folks. Calculations.
Right, my king is dead where he is now in terms of getting that pawn, but I've got 2 pawns to his 1 on this side, so I'm just pushing with a single pawn.
Oh, yeah, 2 moves ahead, man. It's this looks like a doozy for me. But hey, it's been real. Oh, and you have it in the perfect spot too. This is I got 3 pawns. I'm feeling cushy for one who's about to lose his kingdom.
And this is where you just make sure you don't totally botch things. Luke's going to make an attempt here to get those pawns forward. I've just got to put him in check enough to. Right now, I need to get him in check to and fork these pawns. Be able to take them. The thing is he has to move a lot of pieces. I can get my king involved here too.
Yep. And now I'm going to take that and do a check. I'm hanging on for dear life. I got a few moves here. I'm gonna go out with a bang at least.
Yep.
But that bang has bung. All right.
I gotta learn to get further away from the screen. Everyone's just gonna be staring at my forehead.
Yeah, well, I got no background. It's like white. The possibility is the limit. I'm a white canvas, y'all. Okay, yeah, this is exciting.
Uh, just on a general note, any
Ooh.
game like this, you never want to just rush your move because I'll tell you, I have lost too many games thinking, oh man, I've just won it here, and then I do something, just do something dumb and lose my queen, and then he's got an extra pawn on me, and so we just take it slow, getting his king moving, because this is really the point that I want to get it to. Yeah. Ooh, geez.
How did I get this far?
Did I get myself into a pickle here?
It's my last hurrah, but I'm at least doing some fireworks in the process. It's truly weird, to be honest with you guys. I don't even know what's going on.
Did you get yourself a draw? That would be sad. No, I think I still have it.
Yeah, because if it was a side pawn, then it'd be like that. But this is weird. I cannot say I've actually been in this exact position before. See, this is where this is where some of your masters would be like, "Oh yeah, that's a draw," or "That's not a draw." They'd know in like 2 seconds. But
Yeah, they would have somebody would have thrown in a towel like 20 moves ago.
Yep, that's what you need to do.
That's what I need to do.
That was it right there.
Until that happens.
This is weird. I was thinking for some reason, because if you're one move ahead, obviously it would be checkmate the next one. But
I shouldn't have put my king there. I think I messed up by bringing my king up, or even having my queen as close as she is. I should have been dangling my queen way back there.
yeah,
No, I needed it. I needed it to force you into that position. So yeah, first game, it looks like we ended up giving ourselves a draw here, probably through some pretty bad chess playing on my part.
yeah, but preface that by saying I did some bad chess playing in the mid game. So
there you go.
There
so
you go.
I'm forced into this position here where I got to put my queen there. I can't get him in check and keep my queen. So then I exchange and
wow.
That's right.
So yeah, do you want any last words you want to say before we are on next time?
Yeah, I didn't follow my own advice there. I said, hey, slow down at the end of the game. Make sure you don't do something stupid. And, that's what you do. That's how you learn.
Yep.
Never stop playing. And really take a look at what you're doing. That's, you never play a perfect game. And
Yeah.
as long as you just continue to play, you'll continue to get better.
Yeah, and I would just follow that up by saying what I'm most excited about, to be honest with you guys, is doing exactly that. Like we don't make perfect games. Very few have ever done that. But what we can do is learn from them. So one thing we're pretty stoked about is as we start to delve deeply into analyzing our own games, we're going to kind of show you that process and walk you through it. And as we do it kind of on camera, you'll be able to take a glimpse and hopefully take that to your games. And so that's kind of a little bit to look forward to as we kind of provide you with a really solid structure that we're going to use ourselves and then walk you through it. Because as you know, the best way to teach is to do it experientially. So yeah, that's kind of coming down the pipeline. But yeah, we're pretty stoked about this. To be honest, I'm just excited to play chess with Tom again and get to discuss our moves and in essence, get to kind of show some of you guys out there what some of the possibilities for improvement are.
All right. Well, thanks, Luke. Good games.
Thanks, Tom, and we'll see you guys next time. Until then, keep improving your game.